Today we're going to be going over simple and compound interest. So I want you to go to your star chart real quick and let's look at the formulas. Remember, what does simple interest solve for? Interest. The I is right here. Simple interest solves for interest. What does compound interest solve for? The total amount. So the first thing you have to do when you're answering these questions is you have to read what it's asking for and ask yourself, does the formula give me what it's asking for? So let's look at the first one. Russell invested $17,500 in an account that pays 4% simple interest. So right there I'm just going to stop and I'm going to write the simple interest formula down, which is I equals PRT. If you did not write that, then you need to write it. He will not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. Which of the following statements are true about the investment at the end of 3 years? So I'm going to go ahead and solve this problem with this formula. So remember, P means principal. That's your starting amount. That's this number. The R is the rate as a percent changed to a... So this change to a decimal is 0.04. And this is your T, your time. So I'm going to do 17,500 times 0.04 times 3. So get your calculator and type that in. And that is equal to 2,100. But let's stop and ask ourselves, what does this formula solve for? So the interest, because that's what I just found, is $2,100. Now let's think logically. How much money did he invest? So do y'all know what it means to invest? Like you're putting your money into something and you should get more money back. Yes, you're investing it. So, does it make sense that that's all he would have after 3 years? Or does that make sense like that's how much he made off of his money? That's how much he made off his money. He started with this amount. So to get the total, I take this number and I add it to what he started with. So I'm going to take 17,500 plus 2,100. 19,600. That makes more sense. If I start with $17,000 and I'm investing, I'm not spending, I have to end up with more money total in the end. Yes? All right, now let's answer these questions. The balance, that means the total, in the account after 3 years will be 2,100. Is that the total or is that how much he makes? So is that true or false? False. The balance, the total balance in the account after 3 years is 19,600. True. The balance after 3 years is 19,685. No. The amount of interest earned is 2,185. No. The amount of interest earned was $210. No, there was only one correct answer. Number 2, Jeff deposits $3,000 in a savings account. What is a savings account? Yeah, you're saving your money. You're not spending it. So the bank's going to pay him 4.5% compound interest. What will the balance be at the end of 2 years? So should it be more than that or less than that? Should be more because I'm investing that. I should make some more money. Yes? All right, which formula am I going to use? Compound. So I go to my star chart. I look up compound. And this is the formula I'm going to write. A equals P open parentheses 1 plus R to the T power. Now I'm going to fill in the pieces that I know But what does this formula solve for? Total amount. Is it going to give me the total amount? The formula is, but the question says, what will the balance be? Doesn't that mean total amount? So this formula is going to give me my answer. All right, what is the starting amount? The P, 3,000. Open parentheses. 1 plus. We have to change this to a by dividing by. So we need to do 4.5 divided by 100. 4. Oh, that's not going to work. First, okay. First you could do 4.5. Y'all should know what this is, but I'm going to show you. Math, decimal enter, and now we need to divide it by 100. 0.045. And what is the time? 2 years. And that is an exponent. So I go to my calculator and type that in. Question? How much money is he going to have in his account after 2 years? $3,276. Why did I round this to 8 pennies instead of 7? Because if the next number is 5 or more, yep, you add 1 more. Is that the answer, or do I need to do anything else to it?
You gotta add
What does this formula solve for? What does that mean? We wrote it on our star chart. So is that the total? What does the formula solve for? Total amount. So is that the total amount? Yes, because that's what the formula solves for. That is why I make y'all write that on your star chart. When you use compound interest, it is going to give you the total amount, which is what we needed. So I don't do anything else. Number 3, Ben deposits $1,750 into each of 2 savings accounts. So he has $1,750 to put into account 1, and he has $1,750 to put into account 2. Account 1 earns 2.75% simple interest. Account 2 earns 2.75 compound interest. Ben does not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. Which amount is closest to the difference between the interest he will earn in account 1 and the interest he will earn in account 2? So what am I comparing? The what? The total amount or the interest? The interest. So what I'm going to do is I need the interest for account 1, and then I'm going to subtract that from the interest for account 2. This is helping me get organized. That's what the question's asking for. It says, which amount is closest to the difference between the interest he's going to earn in account 1 and the interest he's going to earn in account 2. Does everybody agree that this is what I'm going to do? But now I have to find the interest for both of them. So let's look at the first one. What is it asking for? All right, so let's go to our formula chart. What does simple interest solve for? Interest, is that what I'm looking for? So this formula is going to give me what I need. So I'm going to do I equals PRT for this one. How much money am I putting into the account? So $1,750 times. What is the rate as a decimal? I must divide this by? All right, so I move it 2 places. 1, 2, or divide by 100. 0.0275 times, how many years is it staying in here? Right here, 2 years. Once I multiply this, it's going to give me the interest, which is what I need. So 1750 times 0.0275 times 2. Did everybody get what I got? He made $96.25 in 2 years just by his money sitting there. $96.25. Now let's look at account 2. What kind of interest does account 2 earn? Account 2 earns compound interest. Okay, let's go to our star chart. What does compound interest solve for? Is that what we need? No. Guys, what is it asking for? Interest. So, y'all just told me compound interest does not solve for interest. So this formula is not going to give me what I need. I'm going to have to take it a step further. So A equals P, open parentheses, 1 plus R to the T power. What is the P? How much money is he putting in this account? $17.50, open parentheses, 1 plus, what is his rate? The same thing. 0.0275, close parentheses, what is the years? 2. I am going to type this in, but it is not going to give me what I need. $1,847. I'm going to write that over here. $1,847.57 is the total in that account. But I need the, so what am I going to do? Subtract out what I started with, and that'll tell me what he made in interest. He started with $1,750. $97.57. Now that I have both of them, it wants the difference between those two. So what am I going to do? Subtract. Now, don't write a negative or positive. You're just going to write the difference. How much money is it difference? So 96.25 minus 97.57, which is $1.32. Was it really any difference at all much? No. So simple interest and compound interest really did not affect that too much. He deposited the same amount of money. He had the same interest rate for the same number of years. So it was a really close amount of money that he made. All right, I'm going to pass out the assignment. We're going to do 2 of them together that are hard, and y'all are going to do the other ones on your own. All right, put your name on it right now. You've got to use your brain on these questions. So let's look at number 1. Number 1 is talking about compound interest. If you look at the formula for compound interest, it solves for what? But this question says, how much? So this formula is not going to give you the answer. You're going to have to subtract once you use the formula. You're going to have to subtract out what he started with. Number 2 is talking about simple interest. And it wants the interest rate. I'm going to have to do this one with y'all. Let's go do number 2 together. This is one where we're going to have to set up an equation, so pay attention. Abby opened an account with $3,000. That's your P. She did not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. The account earns what kind of interest? Simple, so I'm going to go write that formula down. Simple interest is I equals PRT. Write it down. I don't see everybody writing. I'm giving you an answer and you're not writing. At at the end of 8 years, what is this going to be? That's my time, my T. The balance on the account is $3,600. Stop. Does any part of this formula talk about the balance or the total? No. What does it talk about? So how do I know what they made? If they started with $3,000 and they ended up with $3,600, how much money did they make? That's your interest. $600 is your interest because that's how much they made. They gave me the P, they gave me the T, they gave me the interest. They're asking me to solve for the R. What was the rate? So I'm going to plug in for P, 3,000, times the rate, times the time. How much time? 8 years. Is that an equation? Yes or no? Yep. What can I call the rate when I don't know it? X. You don't get to make up a number. When we don't know a number in math, we call it X. So I have 600 equals 300 X times 8. I meant to put 3,000. Thank you. All right, so here we go. Where do we solve equations at? In the calculator. We go to where? Where do we go? Y equals. I have to reset. All right, so here we go. 600. I don't see everybody doing this. 3,000 X times 8. Second trace, option 5. Enter, enter, enter. What's the answer? 0.025. Now, is that a rate as a percent or is that a decimal? So if I want to change it back to a percent, I multiply it by 100. Because if we want to change it from a percent to a decimal, we put it over 100. But I want to go backwards, so I multiply it by 100. So 0.025 times 100 is 2.5%. That is the rate that was used. Okay, let's look at number 3. Sammy puts $1,500 into a life insurance policy. It pays 7.5%. What kind of interest? What does simple interest solve for? Interest. All right, let's look at the question. If no additional investment is made in the policy, what will the? Does this formula going to give you your answer? No, you're going to have to add it back to the principal. Okay, we're not going to do number 4. So just put a little line through it. Turn to the back. Number 5. Robin puts $8,500 in an account. It offers 3.5% interest. Guys, that's 3.5%. You still have to change that to a decimal. They're wanting compound interest. What does compound interest solve for? So then look at the question. What will be the? Does that mean total amount? Yes. So this formula will give you your answer. You don't have to do anything else to it. Okay, let's look at number 6. Luca deposits $1,750 into account. He makes no additional deposits or withdrawals. The account earns 2% simple interest. What does simple interest solve for? Interest. Now look at the question. What was the? Did it ask for interest? No. So I'm going to have to go a step further and add it back to my principal. Okay, we're not going to do number 7. Number 8, Stuart opens an account with $6,000. The account earns 2.4%. Simple interest. What does simple interest solve for? Interest. Now look at the question. At the end of 5 years, how much interest? Is this formula going to give us what we need? Yes. All right, get busy. Come get your stuff checked with me.